Coming up on St. George News at 5, the historic Grand Canyon Lodge is lost as the Dragon Bravo fire burns over 5,700 acres on the North Rim, forcing closures for the season. Plus, big changes are coming to southern Utah schools with new laws affecting everything from cell phone use to school lunches. And later, we'll bring you a look at your dangerously hot weather forecast. All that and more straight ahead.
You're watching St. George News at 5, brought to you by our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica McLaughlin. The Dragon Bravo fire on the north rim of Grand Canyon National Park has destroyed the historic Grand Canyon Lodge and dozens of cabins after explosive fire behavior over the weekend. Fueled by high winds and extreme heat, the fire has now burned more than 5,700 acres. All North Rim access, inner canyon trails, and campgrounds are now closed for the remainder of the season as fire crews continue aggressive suppression efforts. Big changes are ahead for southern Utah schools as a wave of new state laws take effect, impacting everything from cell phone use in classrooms to free school lunch and gun safety education. Let's go to Maury Kessler for a breakdown of what parents and students need to know before the new school year begins.
Out of 583 bills passed by the Utah legislature earlier this year, over 60 took effect on July 1st, with many focused on matters related to public education. Here are 6 of those bills. HB 104 requires public schools to teach age-appropriate firearms safety multiple times between kindergarten and high school. HB 161 expands free school bus access for students who live more than 1.5 to 2 miles from school, depending on grade level. SB 178 bans student use of phones, smartwatches, and similar devices during classroom instruction. Exceptions include emergencies, medical needs, and disability accommodations. HB 462 sets up a grant program to help rural schools build or renovate sports facilities with up to $500,000 available per school. HB 100 ensures free lunch for students who qualify for reduced-price meals and prohibits schools from singling out those who can't pay. It also promotes food waste reduction through share table programs. SB 162, known as Talent Connect, creates a statewide job portal and a paid co-op program linking college students with high-demand careers. To learn more, read the story.
Now we'll take a look at your daily weather forecast brought to you by Casablanca Resort and Casino. Right now in St. George, it's sunny and 108 degrees with a low of 81 expected tonight. Tomorrow will be dangerously hot again with a high near 107 and a low around 79. Over in Mesquite, it's 110 degrees with a low of 86 tonight. Tuesday stays scorching with a breezy afternoon high of 110 and the low only reaching 85. Up in Cedar City, it's currently 95 degrees with mostly sunny skies, cooling to about 67 tonight before warming to a high of 93 tomorrow and a low of 64. Across the region, the heat is intense. Stay hydrated, avoid peak sun hours, and check on neighbors and pets. A southern Utah pilot is recounting the harrowing crash landing in Oregon that injured 5 people after his jet overran a rainy runway and splashed into Coos Bay. Now he's sharing what went wrong and why he believes a miracle helped them all walk away alive.
It was a real possibility that all 5 of us could have died that day.
On April 7th, Cedar City pilot Dean Engelstead, flying a 2019 Honda HA420 jet, flew into Coos Bay, Oregon, a flight he'd done dozens of times before. But this time, something went wrong. Cedar City News reporter Jeff Richards sat with Engelstead to hear the story in his own words.
So we went up every Monday. It always rains in Coos Bay. If it isn't, it's unusual. On this particular day, we went up. I did all my, you punch in what the weather's doing, landed right where I always land. So I remember going to the end of the runway, and I'm telling the guy in the right seat, Austin, we're going to go off the end. And I said, get on here with me, let's push on the brakes as hard as we can. We got on there, and it did not slow down anymore. We were pushing on the brakes all the way. I said, we're going to go off the end. On the end of the runway, straight in front of us, there was 4 or 5 things with the instrument landing system. And they were tall and they were metal. And I didn't want to hit those. And they were lighted up, extremely bright. So I just gave a little bit of right rudder, and we missed those. On our right side, We found out later that there was a big electrical box. So we went and split right between them. But I remember looking out and seeing a fence post out there by the edge of the land. I thought, well, that's not going to be as hard to hit as these are. And we went out through the grass. The next thing I remember is water's rushing in the airplane. Now, it wasn't very deep. It was only 3 or 4 feet deep. The tide was down that day, thank goodness. We got out to make sure everybody was okay. Everybody was hurting. But everybody was as calm as if they were getting out of a car going into Walmart. We all got out, walked it over to the shoreline, 120 feet. And then we went up, climbed a 15-foot embankment. It was rocky in the embankment. During the accident, when I knew I was going off the runway, it never went in my mind that we were going to die. I never had that thought process. But after looking at what the airplane looked like after, and looking at that area we had to go through, it was a real possibility that all 5 of us could have died that day. I honestly believe that those on the other side showed me where to go, because I don't think I'm that good. So we came out of it alive. First time I put a scratch on an airplane in 41,000 hours of flying. First time. I think it was a miracle, but I don't know. You know, it's the only thing I can figure out it is. I do know that the airplane didn't stop. So, and they asked me that, do you think there was a mechanical? I have no idea. The FAA has asked me, do you think that this happened? I said, I have no idea. I just know that I pushed on the brakes and didn't slow down. I don't think I did anything that would have caused the accident, because I've done it. You know, I probably got 25,000+ landings in my life, and it's the first one that went awry.
Engelstad said he hopes to be back flying again within the next few months. Read the full story by Jeff Richards.
A St. George woman has turned her passion for compassion into a safe haven for neglected farm animals, rescuing cows, llamas, horses, even a zebra at the Salty Sanctuary. She's now hoping the community will rally behind her mission to keep these animals safe and loved. Jessie Bang has her story.
In the quiet hills near Diamond Valley, a peaceful rescue is changing lives, not just for animals, but for the woman who made it all possible. This is the Salty Sanctuary, home to cows, goats, chickens, and even a llama named Samantha. Each animal here was rescued from neglect or abuse, and each now lives with love, dignity, and a name.
My hope is that people can come meet these animals and see that they all have their own little spirits and that they all want to live and be loved.
This is Daisy, and this is Emmy. And then Willow's back here. Willow, come here.
Emily Potter found the sanctuary after learning the dark realities behind the dairy industry.
They're my why. The cows are my everything, like absolute everything. You get to look in their eyes and see that they matter.
From blind horses to abandoned llamas, every resident here has a story of survival and of second chances.
It is what I'm here on this earth to do. I know it. It makes me emotional.
But running the sanctuary isn't easy. It's a one-woman operation. As a nonprofit, the sanctuary relies entirely on donations to feed, house, and care for the animals. For more information on the sanctuary and how you can help, see the full article.
I'm honored, and I just want to be able to keep doing it. So,
thank you for watching St. George News at 5. To learn more about our studio sponsor, We Win Injury Law, go to wewininjurylaw.com. I'm Monica McLaughlin with St. George News, your #1 source for local news. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more local news updates. And if you liked this newscast, you might enjoy one of these stories right here.